Charlie in this timeline would also want to help people. She would want to make a difference. But she would come to a much nuttier conclusion on how to do so. One night as she was watching an old superhero flick from Earth, she would then get the idea, what if there was a superhero in hell? Someone who actually got in and saved the day. I mean, true, they're sinners, but they deserve someone to protect them, right? But then Charlie thought that was kind of stupid, as she just sat down and began to sigh. However, one night, as she looked out the window, she would see someone being terrorized. The imp was being mugged. Charlie made a suit out of magic real quick, as then she jumped down. As they looked at her and began to laugh at her, they really was amused by this superhero, as the imp wasn't amused either. The imp looked up, kind of scared, and doubted Charlie's ability. As Charlie would cover her voice and say, "I am the knight. Let this poor soul go." As they said, "Oh, look at this little lady playing dress up. It's not Halloween. Now you need to get going," or suddenly Charlie would then use her magic to blast them away. As she summoned her wings and flew and punched one of them, they all began to run away. As the imp thanked her, she couldn't believe it. She actually saved someone. As Charlie scared these sinners away, she felt powerful, she felt strength, and she wanted to do it again. As she would go out every once in a while. However, she wouldn't fight on tough overlords, anyone like that, at least not yet. For a simple reason, she didn't want to get beat up. But each time she did, she felt like she could do it more and more. And she began to train with herself to get stronger and stronger and stronger. As her powers grew, she wanted a bigger job, a bigger bust. As she felt the adrenaline rush. Every time she saved someone, every time she fought someone, it filled her with adrenaline, it filled her with power, and it filled her with the need to do more and more and more. But she felt like she couldn't do it all on her own. After all, there was a lot of strong overlords after her, and she needed to start taking them on if she wanted the city to be a cleaner, safer place. But she didn't really know what to do. She needed help. One day, however, she would come across Vaggie. As Charlie would look at Vaggie, she felt something. It was like love at first sight. She would let Vaggie in, and they would stay together for a few months. However, Charlie would go out late at night, and one day Charlie would come back, and Vaggie would say, "What are you doing out there? Why do you travel?" And she said, "I'm Red Crimson," as she laughed. That crazy superhero girl who just stops, like, low-down criminals. I mean, she goes after a few overlords here and there, but she hasn't done a lot. Charlie would say, "Hey, I'm trying," offended. Vaggie would say, "I want you to take this seriously," as Charlie would open her closet and reveal the suit. Vaggie was shocked as she looked at her and said, "You're the powerful princess. Why don't you just... I can't do this, okay? Lucifer won't stop down on crime, and besides, they're sinners. They're expected to be criminals. But there's a hero out there to stop them, a hero out there to point them on the right path. Maybe they'll do what they say. And maybe we'll just go after the evil people, not the criminals themselves." Vaggie would say, "All right, but this is dangerous. Danger is my middle name. Are you in?" Vaggie would sigh, as then she smiled and said, "I can't say no to you, babe." Charlie and Vaggie would then start to kiss, as they would start fighting crime, as they would bring criminals to justice. And well, since it's hell, a lot of people were corrupt, they had to take them out sometimes. And keep in mind, this is Charlie would have a different personality, wouldn't have a problem doing that. As this became bad for business, all of the other overlords would meet up and begin to talk. And Charlie and Vaggie would go after the extremely evil ones, not just the ones that are breaking the law, considering that a lot of sinners break the law. As they would all talk, the V's had a solution. As Vox said, "Quiet down, I hired someone." As Stryker would walk in, as they would all laugh. "He's just an imp," one of the overlords would say. As Stryker would pull out an angelic blaster and blast one of them, as he laughed and said, "Any other questions? You know, he's gone permanently." As then they all stayed quiet. "Good. I'll get rid of these two heroes for you, permanently." As Stryker would then laugh, Vox would say, "How amusing. Now, how much do you want to take them both down?" As Stryker would say, "You want them alive, or do you want them perished?" As Vox would think and say, "Either way, it doesn't matter." Stryker would say, 4,100 credits for both." 400,000 credits for both? Are you insane? Take it or leave it. Fine. But you must take care of them. Oh, trust me, I will," Vox would say, as he would have some weak-leveled men harass some imps for a trap, as Red Velvet's secret identity would also fight with Vengeful, which was Vaggie's secret identity, As they both easily took out the loan shark, suddenly Stryker would laugh as he would take out his blaster and begin to blast. As it almost hit Charlie, but right at the last second she dodged it without even thinking, as her eyes turned red. This shocked Stryker as he used a rope to swing between the buildings, as suddenly Charlie would appear and kick him to the floor. As Stryker would get up, he would say, "Well, well, well, that's quite a kick for some young lady." Stryker would then get kicked by Vaggie, as he would say, "Vengeance and Red Rose. I should have expected you two to come after me." Charlie would say, "Actually, it's Red Crimson." "Shut up. It doesn't matter. Now, I've led you straight to my trap." As Stryker would then pull out a button and hit it, as the building began to be destroyed. As the building started to collapse upon itself, Charlie would grow wings and grab onto Vengeance, who would pretend not to be able to have wings, not to let her know she was an exorcist. As Stryker got out of there, he would say, "I didn't know you had wings," as suddenly she would appear in front of him and punch him down. Stryker would put up one heck of a fight, but he would be captured. As Charlie would say, "Who are you working for?" As Charlie would say, "Who are you working for? If you don't tell us, justice will prevail. We will find out." As Stryker said, "Look for the V," as suddenly a poison dart would hit him in the neck, as then he would pass out. "No longer with us." As Charlie would say, "What do you think you meant by that?" Vaggie would say, "Look for the V," as she pointed towards a giant V tower. Charlie said, "Oh, good point. Yeah. But let's get some sleep, babe." "Yeah." As Charlie and Vaggie would make sure they weren't followed, they would then go and get some sleep. As Charlie and Vaggie would rest up, Charlie would have a terrible dream. As she was out there fighting crime, Vaggie would fall to the floor and say, "Why'd you get me into this mess? Why? Why?" As Charlie would say, "I'm sorry," as Vaggie began to cry as she disintegrated in Charlie's hands. As she screamed, she woke up, as Vaggie said, "What's wrong?" As Charlie would say, I had a bad dream. You were, as then Vaggie would hug Charlie and say, "Hey, we'll make it through this together, alright?" Charlie would say, "Yeah. We have to take them down." Charlie would then nod, as they both got up. I've always wondered why you didn't go after the V's, because they were very strong, Vaggie. Besides, I just love taking down the little guys, making them feel like they were special. But now, it's time that we go after the big ones." As Vaggie nodded and said yes indeed, as she grabbed her angelic spear, as Charlie got her weapon too, as they both prepared to fight, as they knew it would all come down to this. As they got into their costumes, they would then go out, as they would scope the area. As they were all looking at the area, Charlie and Vaggie would suddenly get an unsuspected surprise as Alistair walked behind them. "So you're the two superheroes. How entertaining." Vaggie and Charlie got ready to fight when Alistair said, "Lower your weapons. I know you have beef with the V's, so I will offer my assistance. I'll take on Vox while you take on the other two. I think I can win this time." Charlie would say, "You really want to help us?" "Yeah, it'll be fun, won't it?" Vaggie would say, "We're heroes. We need all the help we could get. Besides, this will be huge if we could take them down." Charlie reluctantly accepted, as they all got ready to fight. As then, they knocked on the door of the building. Alistair would pretend like he wanted to join, so they let him in. As Alistair walked in, Val and Vox would both look at him. As Vox said, "Why on earth would we let you join?" As Alistair laughed and said, "I'm not here to join you. I'm here to destroy you." As suddenly part of the building began to blow open. As Vaggie would fight Velvet, Charlie would fight Val, and Alistair would fight Vox. All three battled each other. The V's had a lot of power, a lot of strength, and a lot of ruthlessness. However, Alistair also had strength, ruthlessness, and more experience than all of them. And Vaggie was ruthless also. Charlie was holding back. However, Charlie had the most potential out of all of them. As this battle mixed in, it would last for hours. And they would all continue to battle each other, using every single technique that they could think of, every single thing that they could use. And neither of them would light up, but eventually Val would make a mistake, causing him to be destroyed. Then Velvet. Then they would all pile in on Vox. Even though Vox was the strongest Overlord and was able to hold his own, it would only take a couple minutes for him to be defeated. As they did it, the villains were defeated. As Alistair started to walk away, Charlie would say, "We're going to have to fight me one day, yes. But for now, you've won, so enjoy it." As Alistair walked off, Charlie did it. Charlie defeated the V's, and will now take on more Overlords to protect Hell as their only superhero. And that's going to leave things off. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that thanks button if you want to send me any, a tip, because those are my versions of tips. And I actually got my first thanks a few days ago. Very great, very amazing. I just want to say thank you. I'm going to pop them up there right now. Thank you for giving me the thanks. It means the world to me. They want to know if I'll do a video where I get Adam and Lilith back together, and I will do that. I don't know when. Probably tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this, or if it comes out. I think I could do that. The only reason I haven't really done that right away is because, well, I don't know, honestly. I just had a bunch of other ideas that I really wanted to do, so it just kind of got the back foot. When I get excited about something, I kind of do it. Like this one, I literally just saw an image that works, so I cut out the background and replace it with stuff and like add new things, and yeah. So I was like, that kind of looks like Charlie was a superhero. I'm like, what if she was? What if she was a superhero? And then I just did that. A lot of times I'll see a picture, I'm like, hey, that looks like that. Wait a second, what if that happened, Or I'll see a theory, and then I'll make a what if about that theory, because I think it's a cool theory. So, yeah, there's a lot of the ways I make videos, which I do enjoy, and I hope you all enjoy them. If any of you want to know how to make these videos, it's super easy. All you need to do is get iMovies or CupCat. I prefer iMovies because CupCat made every music and everything they use premium now, so I hate CupCat. I used to use it for my computer, but I had to switch it over because of just how bad it was. So yeah, CupCat sucks now. Do not use that. Use iMovies. Way better. iMovies is a way better free app for recording or editing. And yeah, since I'm using low budget and stuff like that, I don't need anything huge. I don't need like these fancy editing services. iMovies does well. You get iMovies, you save some images from Google, and then you just talk over them. It's great. And you don't even need a computer. You can just use your phone, and that's what I did when I first started, and it was just fine. I've gone back and forth, and right now I'm using my phone, and it works perfectly fine. You don't need a computer or anything like that for iMovies. iMovies is great. Now, the one thing I will say about it is make sure your phone is down on the floor or a bed or some surface, and you have your face near it and talk over it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to hear yourself because the audio is going to be bad. But if you do that, then it should be fine. And like I said, iMovies is great. So yeah, if you guys want to do what ifs and stuff, I'll shout you out, Just let me know in the comments below. Hey, I did a what if about this. Because there's a lot of what ifs that I can't do, that I don't know how to do. I don't know the character, or I don't know where to start, or I don't think it'll do too well. And in those cases, maybe you should do it. I'll shout you out. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. Love you all so much. Thank you for watching me. Thank you for supporting me. And thank you for always being there. Having an audience like you just means the world to me. And I'm so grateful for it. Peace out.